doesn't sound happy to me. Damon is here. You line out. Hi, Damon. How are you?
Hey, good to see you again.
You line out a 15-day calendar here. China starts with, China says no more bonds. At the end, it's life as you understand it. I mean, business and money and everything else, as we understand it, is totally different. 2 weeks later. Okay, right?
Yes.
All right. America, I want you to see, Damon's actually not the unreasonable one. I had a guy who said, oh, it'll happen in 3 days. 3. You've taken a whole 15. The key is, when does it catch up to you? Now, let's start with this. China says no more bonds. Show me how, because this is the premise, this is the trigger. Show me how realistic this can be in the next 12 months.
China's just starting to say no. So their opening act would be to really just say no more bonds. And they're not buyers of our bonds.
And this is where, when they say no more bonds, this is why Europe is going towards the austerity. They're cutting back because they have to signal to the rest of the world, okay, we're serious. We know we can't spend like this.
Right.
Right.
And it's really showing up in Europe first, and we're looking at the future.
Okay.
Europe is our future.
All right. Day number 1, China says no more bonds. Day 2, what happens on Wall Street?
Markets are spooked, a little eerie, quiet, but there's a kind of a hush all over Wall Street. It's surprising.
Okay.
Definitely Wall Street is a little surprising.
Odds that this happens in the next year? You have no idea.
I think very good, and I think it may already have happened.
Okay. The next day, day 3, it's the same, but now there are rumors. What are the rumors?
The rumors are, I guess, of the instability in the markets, the instability in the bond market, and really what's next, and that people are starting to worry about maybe a panic or something.
President said anything at this point?
Might have gone on TV, made a speech, that they'll find ways to continue the economy strong and sound. You know, the typical Obama speech.
Right. Seeing that it's Friday, Saturday, he knows that the kids are at soccer, so really, knowing the government, they just try to get to Friday. And everything will just magically change over the weekend.
Right.
Sunday, the Asian markets open, and what happens?
Asian markets open, and the Asian markets are in free fall. Major declines. Every crash that we've had, whether it's the '87 crash or even the instability that we saw in '08, it really opens up in Asia. Asian markets are way down. Okay.
Then our stock market, or no, our dollar is down. You say our dollar is worth, on Sunday, this started on Wednesday, on Sunday, if you had $100 in the bank, you now have $90 in the bank of value.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Gold is up $200 an ounce.
Easily.
Easily.
Yeah.
Monday, the Dow opens. What happens?
Dow plunges 900, maybe 1,000 points in 20 minutes.
Markets have to close.
Markets close, yeah. It's just overwhelming. People are in shock walking around. And
you're saying the market closes in 20 minutes. Okay. Europe raises their interest rates. What does that mean?
Well, it's a scramble for liquidity. I mean, it's all about liquidity. It's all about where do you find the real liquidity globally.
Okay, so hang on just a second.
Problem.
So you know, so Europe raises their interest rates. That means they have debt. They need the money. So they say, we're going to give you a higher yield on your bonds, right?
We're going to give you more interest.
We're going to give you more interest if you invest in Europe. And what happens is they're sucking the money out of here. Everybody's starting to freak out about us. And so Europe tries to position themselves as a good investment. Hey, invest over here. We'll give you more if you come over here, right?
Right. You're trying to compensate the investor for the risk of making the investment. And as the markets get riskier, interest rates rise as Western economies scramble for liquidity.
Okay. Day 7. We're the first week in. Day 7. Wait until you see what day 15 looks like for you next. America, I want to introduce you again to Damon Vickers, Managing Director of 9 Points Capital Partner and author of The Day After the Dollar Crashes, a survival guide for the rise of the New World Order. Damon spells out a hypothetical 2 weeks here that we're going through. And when we get to day 16, 17, 18, you will not recognize your country. China says no more bonds, spooked on Wall Street. Rumors are happening. Then the Asian markets start to fall. The Dow plunges. Markets close in the first 20 minutes in week one. Markets are unable to open. Emergency Fed meetings are happening. They open at 10:45. Is it over? The next day, it's all quiet. The market starts to rally. What do you mean by a rally on that day? We went through this. I mean, I can see CNBC cheering.
Oh, yeah.
The dope's just going, it's over, invest, now's a good time to buy, right?
You can definitely see it.
Oh, yeah, it's happening.
And you know, people buy dips. So the market sells off 900
they
points.
say this is the bottom.
It's a chance to buy the downtrend.
The next day, it's stable. Then Friday, you say the dollar plunges. 10 to 15, didn't it already plunge? Dollar already plunged, didn't it? Yeah, 10%. So now we're additional 10 to 15%.
Yeah, the trend persists. The selling persists. And that's what surprises people as we move towards the weekend, is that the actions of the Fed, the actions of the government to quiet the markets are not working.
Okay, so we've seen this before, where, oh, it's all fixed, and people get euphoric, and they're like, hey, because they want to believe, and then it just, because it's gravity, it comes down.
Market forces are generally always stronger than the government's ability to contain them.
In your scenario, it's lucky because now it's Saturday. So the Fed has the weekend, has a Saturday where they can meet. They meet, then they raise the interest rates 5 to 6%. What does that mean?
They're trying to attract buyers. Again, it's the scramble for global liquidity. That's what this whole game is all about. And so to entice investors to take higher levels of risk, they've got to raise interest rates. They raise interest rates again, and in the book we lay it out that there are no buyers.
Okay. And then you say day 13, lucky 13, Monday, you say it's global meltdown. You say the Dow falls 3,000 points in one day. But this is not just the Dow. This is every market. So resources are just being destroyed everywhere, right?
Well, it's the value of most global assets in the world have been driven up by leveraged and hypothecated money. So collapses in equities or collapses in real estate are really just markets finding their own value.
It's gravity. It's gravity. Okay, then the IMF and the G20 meet. There's a total restructure of all debt. This is a big day. After this happens, this is a big day because Spooky Dude has his new world order. Total restructure, a new global order. Explain what this is.
Well, there's a lot of debt in the world amongst Western Europe and the United States. It's massive. It's an amount of debt that can never be paid.
Never.
And so we get to the point where basically
clear all the chips off and say we're
clear it
starting fresh.
out. It's what happens in a bankruptcy.
And you're saying this is on global television in different languages all around the earth. We're all watching it at once. And they're saying there's a new global order. Okay, right?
A new global order, a new world order.
That's when you're saying that's when the public panics all over the world because they don't like this. And that's not just America. Nobody likes this. The banks, people start breaking into the banks. I want my money. The ATMs are now out of cash. There's nothing left. Food, it's beginning to look now like a hurricane. You know, a hurricane comes and, you know, hey, there's going to be a heavy snowstorm in New England and all the food is gone off the shelves. You say, it's there. And this is where the real trouble for the public begins, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, let's go from there. In our next break, I'm going to bring in my good friend Brad Thor, who will take it from there. What happens and what are the forces that want this to happen? Next. It's not really a happy show today. It is a truthful show. It is a show of the possibilities of what's coming. What will stop these things from coming is an opening of people's eyes. I was talking to Damon Vickers. He's managing director of 9 Points Capital Partners, and also joining him now is Brad Thor, novelist. His new book, The Athena Project, is out November 23rd. You have done, what was the red thing that you...
The analytic red cell program for the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, he's one of these guys who is in the think tank or, you know, wargaming with the government for a while. The thing that people always miss when I talk to people who are in finance, high finance, you know, Goldman Sachs or anything like that, they'll always say, oh, well, no, we've got systems to protect. But they never watch their back door. They never watch, they don't recognize the radicals that are all around in our own government, in our own country, in other governments, other countries, and the number of people that would like to see capitalism and the free market and America fail. It's a dog pile right now. And to totally change the order of the world. Damon, you're sighing.
No, it's a complex problem. You have a growing global population of people that are disenfranchised, a growing segment of the global population that is unemployed, mainly in the westernized economies. What do you do with the idle that have too much time on their hands to conceive revolutions and get organized?
Yeah,
and that's part of the plan, is to get as many people idle as possible. We talk about cloud pivot. You and I have talked about it many times. Yeah. This idea of overwhelming the system. As a matter of fact, one of the books that you had held up, The Coming Insurrection, talks a lot about encouraging these people on the left to actively commit welfare fraud, student aid fraud, home mortgage fraud. Everything we're seeing now, this is not, you know, this is not some crazy conspiracy theory. If you look at what these people are saying, they're telling us everything they're going to do.
They're doing it, and you know what's amazing is they don't have to cower in the shadows anymore. Do you believe there's a star chamber anywhere and they're all getting together and they're like, well, now here's what we will do? Do you believe that?
That they're a centralized authority where they conceive the direction of the world?
Hatch this plan, yeah.
No, I actually do believe that exists.
You do?
I know it exists for a fact.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay. Who is it?
I thought it was you.
I have been found out. Edit the tape. Here's the thing. I mean, I think George. Let me rephrase this, because maybe we're saying the same thing. Maybe we're not. And what I believe is George Soros absolutely has a plan in his own interest. I don't think a lot of these people don't think that they're evil. They think they're doing the right thing. You know, and in that line are the people that are currently in power, but there are also communists. There are also groups of other people that have a plan, and they're all just kind of moving together. I don't think Obama's.
I live in Seattle now, but I'm originally from New York, and driving up the east side, I come by the United Nations. And so the idea of bringing the world together, of having a direction for the world that is positive and good, whereby changes can be made on the world's behalf to improve and benefit the world. This is not a unique idea. And there have been people that have kind of helped to orchestrate that in a positive fashion. I think over time it got corrupted, maligned. And I'm talking about the CIA. I'm talking about the perhaps some of the...
Brad, I know you're going to disagree with this because you're a fan of the CIA.
But it had noble intent, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you that some of these people think they're doing the right thing. Right. I actually think liberalism, to a large degree, the real hardcore leftist progressive stuff, is an impulse control disorder. This inability to look at someone and not say, I want to help them, and take this person's money to help them and to move things around. The inability to let that person find their own way, maybe with a little bit of help, because, of course, that's part of our Judeo-Christian heritage, is that those that are truly the most unfortunate among us, not because of their financial level, but if they have a handicap or this person's, you know, when we see the overwhelming amount of people on government assistance in this country, and I was talking to you before we came on the show about how much I love Broke, and I think it's your best book ever. And I'm reading in there and I'm seeing how Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, it's 56% of our federal budget. It's the first time I'm seeing all this stuff laid out like this. 42 cents of every dollar the federal government is paying is borrowed. 42 cents of every dollar. So I look at this and I say, we absolutely cannot have any more sacred cows in this country. We have to put these entitlement programs on the block if we want to save this nation.
All right, so I'm going to have Brad go to the next level, and have him show you what these people in some of these books here are planning and what they're telling people to do. Again, not to have you do anything other than to know it, to do your own research, to find out if you believe it to be true, if they're really doing this, and so you can prepare. Fear, panic, is on day 15. Panic is what gets you. Fear is what gets you. When you know it, when you see it coming and you prepare, there's no need to panic. That's our goal tonight. We'll be back in just a minute.